There's not much that I can say about Metal Gear Solid 1 that hasn't been said already. The moment it released, it changed the way people look at games entirely. For good reason too. I could really name everything about that game that was amazing, and I will. The gameplay, the story, the cutscenes, the voice acting, did I say the soundtrack? The soundtrack, amazing. So when Metal Gear Solid 2 came around, it had a lot to live up to. When I first jumped into this game, I kept thinking to myself, is this better than the first? Oh my god.
This is Snake.
Get out of
Do
here.
you read me, Otacon?
Loud and clear.
Otacon?
Kept you waiting, huh? I'm at the sneak.
He said the line.
Everything
Oh
going
my
okay?
gosh. And that's something you'll always see with sequels. Is Spider-Man 1 better than Spider-Man 2? Is Left 4 Dead 2 better than Left 4 Dead 1? Or is Arkham City better than Arkham Asylum? You get the idea. But when it comes to Metal Gear Solid, I think the sequel is better than the original. Now, I don't know if that's a crazy take or not. And keep in mind that this is my opinion, so it's probably right. Now, in my opinion, there's nothing that Metal Gear Solid 1 did better than Metal Gear Solid 2. Okay, maybe there's a few things here and there that it did do better, but before we get into that, I want to talk about the elephant in the room. The original plan for Metal Gear Solid 2 was that I was going to play it through a PS2 emulator, and I did do that for a while. I got halfway through the tanker mission before I bought the MGS Master Collection that released like late last year. Now, the Master Collection isn't known for being good, okay? It has a bunch of issues that can range from being pretty big, like not being able to change the resolution on a PC, you know, in the year 2024, which is kind of crazy, but it also has terrible audio quality. But it can also have small issues like helicopters just floating and random lightning effects not showing up right, and much more. Thankfully though, there are some mods that fix most of the big issues I mentioned. There's also some mods out there that, you know, improve the game, like the upscale textures mod. This makes the game look super nice and crispy, oh my goodness. And just a bunch of other stuff that makes the game a great playing and viewing experience. Now, I know what you're gonna say. Eber, if the collection is so bad, why'd you even decide on buying it? Okay, one word. Steam. I am a sucker for game collection, okay? Guilty as charged. I love being able to show off the games that I bought and collected. So when the idea of being able to show off the first 3 Metal Gear Solid games came to mind, there was no way I was going to pass up on that. I really don't think it's all that bad after you mod it, but the fact that you have to do that in the first place is kind of silly. Sadly, I do have to give credit where credit is due. Konami does release constant updates for the, you know, the collection, which usually would deserve an applause, right? Or like a Reddit gold or something. But come on, these games are old. They shouldn't be having these issues in the first place. I felt like I had to talk about it because this was my first experience with Metal Gear Solid 2. Now there's going to be some people that are like, oh, you just ruined your experience because you didn't play on the PlayStation 2. To that I say, I don't think so. I think the Master Collection is a perfect version if you want to get into the series. But let's get into the story. And my goodness gracious, I love the story for this game. So let's just get into it. Now, I think I consider myself an honest man. So I feel like I have to tell you, there is going to be spoilers in this video. Very, very heavy spoilers, okay? Just for this game though, okay? If you haven't played, you know, Kingdom Hearts 3, you don't need to worry. We're just going to be talking about Metal Gear Solid 2 in this video. The idea that the whole plant situation with Raiden was based off of Shadow Moses with Snake was so amazing to me. It was definitely hinted at a bunch of times, to the point where I was making connections, but I felt kind of crazy. I felt like a fangirl. I was like, wait a minute, is this what's happening, or am I just going crazy? There's moments in this game that play out exactly like the first game, right? There's probably a bunch more, but these are just some that I caught. The first moment that comes to mind is when Raiden is taking off his swimming gear in the elevator, which is near identical to what Snake did in the first game. Okay, this one might be a little crazy, okay? I'm not even gonna lie to you, okay? But in the first game, Snake sees somebody go up the elevator before he has to go up to it. And in the second game, you know, with Raiden, he sees somebody go up the elevator before he goes up it. Am I crazy? I don't think so. I don't think so. Then there's that thing where they both have to go up against a group of criminals, which, I mean, I'm kind of surprised I didn't catch on right then and there. I just came up with the third one mid-recording, okay? They both have to go up against somebody named Snake, codenamed Snake. Okay, fourth one right here. They both have to save an Emmerich, okay? Snake saves Hal. Is that his name? Or Otacon? I just call him Otacon. And Raiden has to save his sister. And I need to be on a writing team immediately. Now that I think of it, I wouldn't even call it hints because they're just there, you know? They're not even hints. What's the bigger version of hints? It's just straight up telling you, right? So when they actually did reveal that all of this was based off of Shadow Moses, I was a little baffled, to say the least. Have you ever been hit with like a video game so hard where you have to like stand up and walk around for a bit? This game, like this moment in specific, did it for me, bro. Like I had to stand up and like go outside for a minute or something because it was insane. Because like when you start thinking about it, it all starts connecting, you know? There's another moment in the game that had me really, shocked, really excited. And that was the secret cutscene at the end of the game, you know, after all the credits have rolled and everything. It's basically Snake and Otacon just talking, and then Otacon just casually reveals that he has the name of all the Patriots, right? And he just reveals that they've been dead, okay? Or that they've been killed, right? 100 years ago. The reason I found this scene so shocking was because throughout the whole game, right, they're always talking about how the Patriots are the one that are pulling the strings, right? They planned everything that we've done, right? And hearing that they're dead was, you know, definitely kind of big, you know? I thought of the Patriots as the big main villain, right? I thought they were going to be the main villain of the whole series. So hearing that they've been dead for 100 years was insane. Absolutely insane. And this opens the door to more because Revolver Ocelot was said to be working with the Patriots, but they've been dead for a while. So who was he working with? You know, why was he doing all this? This is my prediction, okay? I haven't played any of the other games, okay? This is my prediction. I will come back to this video if I am correct. If I am correct, I will have this clip in every single one of my future videos until my time has come, okay? I think Revolver Ocelot is the Patriots. Is that did I just call it? I think I called it. Okay, the last one, that was a slam dunk, okay? I think I got that one in the bag. This next one, this one's kind of a half court shot, okay? This one's kind of, you know, 50-50. I think the Patriots is an alter ego of a character we haven't met just yet. Am I on the right track? If I'm going to be talking about the Metal Gear Solid 2 story, I obviously have to bring up the AI. Now, I hate to break it to you, but I think I'm the last person that should be talking about this. This flew right over my head, okay? I'm going to be completely honest. Like I said, I'm an honest man. Most of it flew right over my head. I completely forgot the Colonel was talking because I was looking at his portrait, right? I'm pretty sure this was like around the time where his like portrait had that skeleton like coming and going. That's what I was focusing on. But I'm sure there's a bunch of other videos that of people that talk about the whole AI thing, which is really interesting. You know, I'm not gonna downplay it. But what I was really more focused on was that the whole AI and the fake Colonel and the fake Rose thing. I found that 10 times more interesting because if I remember right, I think both of the Colonel and Rose were made based off of how Raiden thinks of them, which was really interesting. And I kind of hope this kind of makes a comeback in the other games. I do want to bring this up because I thought it was really cool. The AI freaking out on Raiden before that one Metal Gear boss fight, that was cool, okay? And that one moment during that one part with Snake where you have to like hold out and just fight a bunch of enemies and then you get that fake game over screen, that was cool. That was cool. I really like seeing that, but for some reason it reminded me of a creepypasta, you know, one of those haunted video game creepypastas, you know. Be honest with you, I was expecting a jump scare at any moment, which, you know, was not fun. During that scene, right, where the AI is just freaking out on you, the atmosphere felt really empty. But usually that would be a bad thing, you know, but during this part, I think it was like the perfect atmosphere, right? Because you didn't know what was going to happen next, right? You didn't know what the AI was capable of, which in my opinion made everything a little bit scarier. The last thing I want to cover story-wise is how they faked Solid Snake's death. I was a big fan of this twist, okay? Because the first time you hear about it is when you first start playing out as Raiden, right? And during the beginning, you're like, who is this guy? Why am I playing as him? And then the Colonel is all like, hey man, yeah, you know, Solid Snake is dead. Okay, he died during that tanker, you know, when that tanker blew up. And when I first played that, I was like, excuse me, did I get the wrong ending or something? Did I do something wrong? But you know, the further you get into it, the more you find out that it was all fake and whatnot. It was a really good twist because in the game, right, Solid Snake is kind of seen as like LeBron James, right? Like he is the GOAT, okay? So when you hear that the GOAT died, you're kind of like, no, it's not possible. I personally had to go through each frame of my gameplay to make sure that this wasn't true. But then you find out Otacon faked it and whatnot. You know, he was just being silly. That's pretty much it for the story. You know, like I said, there was a bunch of good moments, but these were some of my favorites. But let's dive a little deeper into the characters. Is he running on water? No way! What?
Hey, what's that? It's running on water.
That's what I said! The characters in this game are all fantastic, okay? They're, you know, they all did their part, you know, they were all great. But there was one character in this whole game that stood out, okay? And it may surprise you, okay? Some of you may already know the answer, but the person I'm talking about is Otacon. Otacon, round of applause for Otacon. I think Otacon is up there with LeBron James and Michael Jordan, but that's just me. But obviously in this game, Otacon had a way bigger role than he did in the first one, which is always, you know, I'm always very glad to see. But I did kind of realize how Otacon is becoming kind of like a punching bag of the series. Everything about Otacon is really sad. I feel like people forget that every now and then. His whole family tree being connected to like nuclear bombs and everything, that's pretty crazy. And how he hasn't seen his sister in forever, right? But he's always loved her, right? He's always cared about her, always thought about her. And when he finally does hear, she dies in his arms. I mean, come on. Like, who wrote this, man? Who came up with this? And speaking of that scene, it was a tough watch. His voice actor really did put in the work. And I think I'll talk about voice actors later down the line, but if I don't, the voice actors in this game really brought their all for this game, man. They did their thing. Like I said, there's some moments where you can really like hear the emotion to the point where you're just kind of like, am I supposed to be here? I feel like this is like a private scene. I feel like I'm not supposed to be here. Back to Otacon, he, like I said, he has lost a bunch of people that like he's close to. I want to say Sniper Wolf, but the way I saw their relationship in the first game, it was more like a one-sided thing. That one side being Otacon, right? I don't know. I may be missing some lore here or there, but it never really seemed like Sniper Wolf really, you know, liked him back. I don't know. This may be a me thing. She also gets a callback in that exact scene where his sister dies. You can hear like a random wolf, really random. I do hope we kind of get like a bit more on that relationship. I don't know, me personally, like I said, it doesn't feel like Sniper Wolf and Otacon had this big of a relationship as they're making it up to. But yeah, Otacon is one of the most interesting characters in the series. You know what, not maybe, definitely top 3 in my opinion. I think he is like up there with Solid Snake. Speaking of the cardboard box man, in this game, Solid Snake is more of a side character, but it doesn't really feel like that because every scene he's in, he's always, you know, stealing the spotlight. Rightfully so, okay? I mean, it's Solid Snake. For a long time in this game, Solid Snake is referred to as Iroquois Pliskin. I hope I said that right. But he has a whole different outfit on. He has like a headset on. He has like a green suit on. I don't know what you'd call it. But the character designers for this game really, you know, really did their thing. Amazing outfit. I really liked how he looked for most of the game. It's very obvious to the player that this is Solid Snake, or at least to the average player. I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought this was like a clone or something, you know, because I don't know, I just didn't think that was Solid Snake. But after a while you do realize it's him. There's a specific cutscene where Raiden sneaks up on somebody on the phone. I'm pretty sure it's Olga, but they're on the phone talking about how there's a person hiding under cardboard boxes, which is a very, you know, subtle hint at Solid Snake from the first game, or just Solid Snake in general. But yeah, I just thought that was cool. Speaking of Olga, there is this one cutscene I want to talk about near the end of the game, right? It's when Olga's revealed to be the cyborg ninja, and then she drops down, and it turns out that her and Snake were working together, and then for no reason at all, she knocks out Raiden, and then Raiden is all like, "Bro, I thought you were part of my team," and Snake is like, "I never said I was part of your team." I thought that was really amazing because it really drives home the idea of Snake being, a bad guy. I thought that was amazing. I thought that was incredible, but I don't know. I just really like that scene. I just really liked it. After Snake reveals that he's not some guy named Iroquois Pliskin and is indeed Solid Snake, he kind of becomes like this mentor figure for Raiden, which I thought was really, neat. I thought it was like, kind of cool that there was somebody that was keeping Raiden, sane. Because this was during the part where the AI was freaking out on Raiden, and Raiden literally didn't know what was happening. So I thought that was very cool. I hope we do see a bit more of this Snake. I feel like we did kind of see that in the first game, right? With Raiden and with Otacon and Snake, where Snake was like, "You do what you gotta do," or something like that. I don't know. I just really find, this side of Snake really cool. During that one part where the AI is freaking out on Raiden, there is this like a one line from Raiden where he's like, where if he questions if Rose is even real. Now I may be misremembering, I'm sorry, but after that, all I could think about was, is Rose even real? Okay, that was kind of a constant thought I had throughout the game, where I was just like, wait a minute, is Rose even a person? Obviously she is, which is revealed at the end of the game with that like one cutscene. But if that cutscene at the end of the game where like she shows up by that like that White House statue or whatever, I would have thought Rose was fake. I would have thought everything like Raiden was talking about was a lie. I don't know. That's just me though. Now would be a good time to talk about Rose. And throughout the game, I saw her as Raiden's motivation. I don't know. This is just, Ebert talking, but I kind of saw her as the reason Raiden kept going, Every time you saved, you'd hear Rose talk about Jack or Jack talk about Rose. It was cute, I'm not gonna lie, but very quickly it felt like I wasn't supposed to like be listening to this, It felt very, very private, It even uncomfortable, The one moment that comes to mind is when Rose was talking about going into Raiden's room, right? And then how Raiden was like swung at her or something like that. That was really uncomfortable. I felt like I was at the wrong spot. I felt like it's like when you're at a random person's house and you walk into the wrong room. You're just kind of like, okay, let me close that door and pretend I was never here. It really felt like that. The more I thought about it, the more I kind of disliked the character of the AI, right? Because it was using these traumatic memories against Raiden. Which, what the freak, man? Why was it doing this? But, I feel like things like this really helps push the point that the AI was the wrong type of thing for humanity, right? But I don't know. Have I talked about Raiden? Okay, let's get into it. Raiden is the main character of Metal Gear Solid 2 for the most part. Like during the first hour, I think you just play as Snake, but after that, you just play as Raiden. Raiden as a main character was pretty good, not a lot to complain about. Actually, yes, there is. I do have a lot to complain about. To me, Raiden felt kind of bland, or to the point where if somebody asked me to describe Raiden, I feel like I wouldn't be able to think of the right words, right? But obviously, this isn't a bad thing. I do hope we see more of him, to the point where if somebody asked me that question, I could, very easily answer, and be like, oh yeah, Raiden's this type of guy, that type of guy. But for the most game, he's just, I don't know how to describe him. I really don't. I don't know. I genuinely don't know, but he was a cool character. I said before that Otacon was, the series punching bag. I'd say that Raiden easily gets the number 2 spot, right? He went through so much in this game for absolute no reason. Both physically and mentally, Raiden went through a lot in this game. He really dealt with literally everything imaginable. He even got his like ball sack grabbed by the president, which I never thought I'd be saying that, but here we are. Compared to Solid Snake, was Raiden a good main character? I'd say, yeah, he was definitely a main character, he was, kind of there. But I feel like comparing him to Solid Snake is kind of hard because Solid Snake in the first game, he was just, he was really, a talkative person. But I feel like in this game, Raiden really didn't. I really don't know how to describe him, man. Like, he was just kind of bland. I already said this before, but I feel like this is a good transition to the main villains of the group, right? What do they call them, bro? I feel so bad for like forgetting what they're called. Well, I think Dead Cell. That whole like villain group, Fat Man, Fortune, and Vamp are so unbelievably bland. Oh my goodness gracious. Which sucks because like their concepts are pretty cool, right? You got a vampire, like what? You got a lady that can avoid death. This is amazing. And you got a guy that plays with bombs. Okay, maybe not that cool, but I feel like they could have done so much with these characters. The Foxhound members from the first game had so much personality in every cutscene. I mean, I feel like I can remember every cutscene they were in. But compared to these guys in the second game, they're kind of not that memorable in my opinion, which sucks, like I said, because they're really cool. But the only person I could kind of see, beat the bland character allegations would be Fortune, because she had the most screen time out of the three. But she was really cool. I really liked how they tied her to the tanker, how she had like people she loved on the tanker, and then at the end is revealed that she's not really a witch. She just had like a piece of technology on her or something. I thought that was really cool. I really liked Fortune as a character. Like I said, I really did hope that the villains for this game were a little bit cooler, but it sucks. It really does suck because the villains of the game really make the game. Like let me think of main villains. Dr. Eggman for Sonic, Bowser for Mario. You know what I'm saying? Memorable characters for one reason or another, but for Metal Gear Solid 2, you're just kind of like, man, can we get somebody else in here? Speaking of, bad guys, let's talk about the bad guy of this game, or one of the many. Solidus Snake. I forgot how to say his name, but you get the idea. He's kind of bad, okay? If I had to choose between Liquid Snake and Solidus Snake, I choose Liquid. Every single time, every single universe. It doesn't matter where I end up in life. I will always choose Liquid Snake over Solidus Snake, okay? There's no way I would ever choose Solidus Snake. He did have some, cool things about him, like the Dr. Octopus arms. Very cool, very, very cool. I didn't like how he killed Olga though. That's one thing that I was gonna talk about, and now I'm gonna talk about it, okay? I absolutely hated how Olga went out, okay? Because she's the cyber ninja, right? She's, very strong, very fast. And when she went up against Solidus, why did she not use her cyber ninja skills? Why did she not do any of this? Why didn't she do a backflip out of like she instead just died very quickly. I don't know. I thought that was very, what's the word? A boring way to go out. Now, I don't know if I missed lore or something, but I mean, come on. I don't know. That's just one of my complaints. I don't know. I feel like she could have done something. Maybe, I don't know, take out her sword and then oh shoot, I almost. And I hate talking about the first game because this is a Metal Gear Solid 2 video, not a Metal Gear Solid 1 video. But the cyber ninja from the first game, literally, he was doing a lot, throughout the whole game. And in his final moments, he was taking on the Metal Gear, okay? Like the thing, right? And he was just doing all this. And then in the second game, Olga's just like, hey man, that's it from me, gamer. You take care of this one. I don't know. But I guess this would be a good time to talk about the boss fights. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, okay? My favorite boss fight of this entire game was probably the Metal Gear boss fight, right? Where you're fighting a bunch of Metal Gears and it seems like it's never gonna end. That was absolutely the peak of this game, in my opinion. I like when in games, if you mess up just a tiny bit, you die immediately, okay? Maybe that's why I like, like competitive games, right? Or like games like Elden Ring, because if you mess up even a little bit, it's over. And this boss fight really, it has that mechanic. So if you mess up even a little bit, you'll get hit by a rocket, or you'll get hit by a laser or a machine gun. I really liked it. The idea that Raiden took out this many Metal Gears is also really cool. I like the idea of Raiden being this like really cool guy, like they can just take out a bunch of Metal Gears at once. Really cool. And I also wanted to talk about the arena for the boss fight, or what should I say, like the background. The background for the boss fight is a bunch of like Metal Gears just like looking at you, and every time you take one down, that Metal Gear jumps back and a new one jumps in. Very, very cool. They had no reason to do this, but they did, and I appreciate it. I've said it before, but I don't care for Vamp, but his boss fight was really cool. I really liked it. It was really stressful because like in the middle of the arena, there's like this pool of water that if you fall in, game over. No butts, no cuts, no coconuts. And I found myself falling in a lot of times, and I kept messing up the button to like go up on a ledge. I kept pressing the button to like drop from a ledge, and I kept dying. I died more times than I could have imagined. That boss fight for me was really stressful because you know, you're in first person and you shoot, right? I feel like I focused more on shooting the knives coming towards me or shooting at Vamp, that I kind of didn't realize how much ammo I had left in my magazine. And it would lead to me having to reload in the worst times possible. Like this is literally like the you know, the winning shot, right? And then I just have to reload, and then Vamp just pushes me into the pool. That was one of the most frustrating moments in my life, but it was still really fun and really memorable. I just remembered about the first boss fight with Solidus. The one where he's in the helicopter. What do you even call it? The jet. That was one of the best boss fights in the entire game. Would I say top 3? Yes, I would. Yes, I would say top 3. The whole lead up to that boss fight was absolutely insane. I had no idea that's where the "no, that's not Solid Snake" clip came from. That was insane. And then, you know, that's where Iroquois Pliskin reveals he's actually Solid Snake, and he just straight up tosses you a rocket launcher, and he's like, "Yo, I believe in you, kid." Absolutely amazing. Absolute peak boss fight, peak gameplay, peak everything. I don't know where to, you know, put this little part in, but I guess I'll just put it in here. The voice acting in this game was absolutely fantastic. You know, shout out to all the voice actors in this game. They all did, you know, really amazing. My personal favorites, like I said before, was probably Solid Snake, Raiden, and Otacon. I really like those 3. Raiden had a bunch of silly lines in this game, which, you know, I always do appreciate a silly line here or there. It just hit me that I have not talked about the gameplay. So let's talk about the gameplay. The gameplay in this game is very similar to the first one. Literally kind of, you know, identical, but the one thing that they did add in this game is the tranquilizer. Now the tranquilizer, I call it the sleep gun. You shoot at an enemy, you know, good night. They're gonna have the best sleep of their life. I find it really cool because one of the achievements for the game is I think it's called Pacifist Run, where, you know, as the title mentions, you have to go the whole game without killing any enemies, which I am looking forward to do in the future because that sounds like it's going to be really painful, but really fun. This gun also uses the first person mode a lot because unlike the first game, you can actually shoot in first person, which is really useful because it allows you to get kills way easier and make enemies fall asleep way faster. The first person shooting mode really does, you know, take the spotlight for most of the game. Shooting in third person is cool, but it doesn't really, you know, get what you need done, right? I can probably count on my hands how many times I shot in third person because it's kind of useless when first person mode, you know, exists. There's also the what you call it, the where you hang from a ledge, you know, grab ledge mechanic, right? I talked about it a little bit during the Vamp boss fight, but basically you can just hang from ledges and get from like point A to point B from just, you know, hanging on a ledge and, you know, just scooting along. I'm gonna be honest, I completely forgot this was a thing for most of the, you know, for most of the game. The only times I would remember it exists is when the game actually made you do it. It's cool, but, you know, I kind of do hope that it does get used a little bit, or actually no, it's probably a me thing. You know, the game probably used it a lot, but, you know, silly little old lever, I didn't use it a lot. I probably only used it like 5 times, to be honest with you. It's cool though. It's cool. Very cool idea. I could see it, you know, being used a lot in the future. Was this a good sequel? I hate to say, but no, I'm just joking. It is a great sequel. It was a fantastic game. I would 100% play it again. You know, I would go for all the achievements if, you know, they weren't so hard, but I'll probably get to them on a stream or something, whatever. Now, I know what you're asking. Eber, what would you rate this game? Okay, let me answer. I would give it, What did I give the first one? Oh dear, I forgot. I'd give this game an 8.4. It was really good. It was really great. Do I recommend it? Yes, I absolutely recommend it. Go out there and buy it, or play it by whatever means, But it was good. It was great. It was super solid, super great, super fantastic, super fun. I can't think of any more words. But yeah, I am looking forward to the series. I am looking forward to, what happens. I've heard some things here and there. No spoilers. Don't spoil me. But I will, I'll get to it soon. I don't think my next video is going to be Metal Gear Solid 3. Sorry to all the Metal Gear fans, but I think my next video might be, something I've been talking about for a while and probably will possibly do. But I don't know. Who knows what the future has in store? Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about this game. It was good. It was great. If you want to see me play this game or any other games, check out my Twitch. Eber. Yeah, I stream every now and then. But yeah, I played a bit of this game on Twitch. I don't know. I'm still kind of getting used to streaming. It is it is a bumpy ride, but I will get used to it. Okay, I just need to put on my seatbelt, fix the mirror, and put on the right music, and we'll be fine. Until then, I think we're good. Like I said, don't know what the next video will be. Probably Persona 3. Who said that? I don't know. Until next time, it's been cool. It's been great. Thank you for watching all this. But yeah, bye. Wait, no, I found a better outro. Eber out. Ooh. My favorite moment in the entire game was right after Ocelot killed a bunch of random soldiers, during the tanker mission. And then, for no reason at all, the game developers decided to add a slow motion, clip of of Ocelot hitting the nastiest weapon inspect of all time. Did I say in slow motion? Because he does it in slow motion. For no reason at all. This just kind of, man, it was, just perfect. I love this moment a lot.